Hello, and welcome to the online training series at the School of Social Work through the University of Minnesota and the Center for Advanced Studies in Child Welfare. This online module is about the experiences of African American caregivers with out-of-school suspensions. The authors of this module are Dr. Priscilla Gibson and moderator Mindy Johnson. After completing this module, it is anticipated that you will be able to meet the following 4 objectives. Cite the arguments for and against zero tolerance as they relate to suspensions. Identify the 3 themes describing the experiences of African American caregivers. Articulate strategies offered to other parents by caregivers to mitigate suspensions. And apply implications for working with caregivers in schools regarding suspensions. The module begins with background information from the literature on caregivers, suspensions, and zero tolerance. Zero tolerance is an influencing policy on suspensions. Next, brief information is presented on the study, including methods and findings. The findings are explained in theme and sub-themes. Following the findings are implications to apply in your practice with African American caregivers who are dealing with suspensions. The end of the module contains a bibliography and additional resources for your use. In this module, the term caregivers is used to describe caregivers and biological parents. The literature lists basically 4 characteristics that have been associated with parents whose children are suspended. One of the interesting findings is that of attitude. According to Partington 2011, families who have a negative view of schools also have children who are more likely to be suspended. This slide continues with information on caregivers and suspensions. It highlights the importance of maintaining communication between teachers and caregivers. It also provides the reactions of parents to suspensions. It is noteworthy that African American males nationwide are suspended more than any group. When a population group experiences a phenomenon more than their percentage in the general populations, it is called disproportionality. Now we shift our focus to zero tolerance. Did you know that zero tolerance policies were prompted by concerns about students bringing weapons, usually guns, to schools? There was a concern about student safety. It was expanded to include other students' behaviors. Even when these behaviors are not deemed to put student safety at risk, they are still subject to suspensions. Given the strong opinions about zero tolerance nationally, it is illuminating to review the arguments offered by both supporters and critics of it. 4 points are provided under each position. We leave zero tolerance and the literature on caregivers and zero tolerance to move to a discussion on the research method. This discussion is brief to give more time to findings. You may be glad to know that there are no quiz questions if you are taking the quiz on research methods. This slide identifies the theoretical framework and qualitative methods used. 19 African American parents and caregivers were interviewed for this study. An interview guide consisting of 14 questions was used. This guide explored 6 areas regarding suspensions. The findings are described in themes and sub-themes typical in qualitative research. The experiences of African American caregivers include emotional costs, relationship changes with their children, and suggested strategies to avoid suspensions. The themes are in no particular order. Each will be discussed separately. The first theme is the emotional cost described by caregivers' thoughts, feelings, and reflections. Descriptive phrases under the sub-theme provide more information about it. Here, caregivers were found to experience shock, fear, anger, and dislike. Are you surprised at these findings? The second sub-theme under emotional cost is cognitive reactions. It describes caregivers' thinkings about the suspension. It seems that their thinking about the suspensions also resulted in their child's story about their experiences at school. The last point on this slide provides the caregivers' experiences of their children's stories. The third sub-theme under the emotional cost theme is reflection on parenting. Caregivers pondered on their parenting. This resulted for some caregivers in becoming a stricter disciplinarian. This slide provides information on the second theme that emerged, relationship changes with children. This theme has two subthemes which describes relationship changes, A with a child who was suspended and B with children who were not suspended. Logically, there are more subthemes under child who was suspended than those who were not. The other subtheme with children who were not suspended under the relationship theme describes action caregivers took to avoid having another child suspended. The third and final theme shows that caregivers suggested strategies for the educational system and other parents who wanted to avoid suspensions. Suggested strategies for the educational system focus on reviewing its use of zero tolerance, using in-school suspensions, and exploring the huge percentage of African American boys who are suspended. The subtheme of strategies for the educational system continues. On this slide, caregivers emphasize actions the school system can take to reduce suspensions. The second subtheme under suggested strategies, caregivers focused on actions other caregivers might take to mitigate suspensions. Of the 5 subthemes, 3 of them are directed at schools and 2 at parenting children. Taking into account the 3 themes, suspensions have a strong influence on caregivers, yet they occur outside of their presence and sphere of control. The African American caregivers in this study expressed their frustration with suspensions. They were concerned not only with the school system's use of zero tolerance, but also with their children's disruptive behaviors. Findings from qualitative studies are not generalizable, but may be used for application in practice. They provide a guide for discussions with the group. For African American caregivers of children with suspensions, it is suggested that social workers incorporate the 3 points on this slide. This slide continues with implication for practice. The video, Peer Juries in Peoria, Illinois, is online and provides an alternative method that some school districts are using to deal with students' disruptive behaviors.
I try to do well in school with the resources we have, but sometimes it seems impossible. All we do is prepare for tests. We don't have enough books in class, and the classrooms are crowded, and the teachers can't just teach. Math isn't easy for me, and I struggle to understand the work. In my geometry class, my peers lose focus, and I can't get the teacher's help. He's too busy trying to keep the students' attention. I want to learn, but the classroom isn't the place to do that anymore. Why even try?
I can't believe I got suspended because I was in the hallway when I'm supposed to be. Now because I'm so small and dumb, I can't even graduate. They don't even trust us enough to be in the hall by ourselves. Yo, I swear, I might well be in jail. They all treat me like I'm in one.
This is crazy. I didn't even do anything. Like, I'm trying to sit in class and trying to learn, but I can't because it's annoying and loud and I can't focus on what the teachers is trying to say. I feel scared. What's going to happen to me while I'm out here instead of school? Will I get arrested? It's like I'm set up for failure. This school is not going to do anything for me. I don't want to go back. I'm not learning anything there. So why should I go back? But now I don't have anywhere to go.
This slide addresses cultural issues with suspensions. It guides social workers to take a strong advocacy role on behalf of African American students. Please visit the following additional resources to further your understanding on school suspensions.